This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year we are saying thank you to therapists. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories and millions of journeys. Behind each one of them is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take that next step forward. Moments in therapy, like asking the right questions, having a safe place to get emotional or cry, or small wins, they can change lives. This World Mental Health Day, BetterHelp is honoring those connections and the therapists who make them possible while showing how easy it is to get guidance from a licensed therapist online with BetterHelp. I've been doing therapy for over 2 years and I couldn't recommend it enough. It's helped me so much with relationships with my friends, families, even myself. It's helped me understand myself better, and it's just made for such a better life. It really has. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for live sessions based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we are collaborating with those therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off of their first month at BetterHelp.com/PFF. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PFF.
Browns at Steelers. A titanic NFC North matchup between maybe one of the best defenses in the NFL and then the Steelers, just a team that absolutely does not beat themselves ever. So I'm curious how you feel that this game script is going to go, Dalton. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, there's going to be a whole lot of defense. I think on both sides of this, it's going to look a lot like that Vikings-Browns game last week that one team barely got over 20 points and won the game. I mean, at this point, we could pretty much just call them the Cleveland Hawkeyes because that's what it is. It's the NFL version of Iowa football, and if there's another team that embodies that, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Aaron Rodgers is one of, early in the season, we talked about this after week 1 or week 2, I think it was, that it's an interesting case of the surface level stats say he's been okay, and the grading and some of the underneath says it's really not. You're getting by with it, right? Aaron Rodgers is actually the lowest graded qualified quarterback in the NFL, but I think his style and the way that he just gets rid of the ball quickly and goes to his pre-snap reads is going to help him in this game with avoiding that elite pass rush the Browns have, Myles Garrett and those guys with the Steelers struggling tacklers, and B, just finding ways to beat man coverage. So Aaron Rodgers, while he is extremely lowly graded because he hasn't been able to throw the ball downfield very well, he does have the fastest average time to throw in the NFL. He does have the lowest average depth of target in the NFL, and he does have the 9th highest adjusted completion rate. So what does that tell you? He wants to get rid of the football quickly, and hopefully the Steelers receivers can win after the catch. You're going to have to do that in this game, right? So I think his style of play in this game is it works to his advantage because if he holds the football for 3 seconds or longer in this game, he's going down. There's just no question about it with Myles Garrett, Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright, Mason Graham, Malik Collins, all the guys the Browns have up front. They're probably going to win the battle more often than not when the Steelers have to drop back and pass protect. So obviously they would like to run the football better, also hard to do on this team. I think it's the reason it's going to be a low-scoring game because even the Steelers, as the favorite here, have to be very conservative when it comes to what they can and can't do in their offense. But Rodgers' style does at least give him some sort of advantage here when it comes to beating the pass rush because that's my thing, Trev. If they can't protect you, protect yourself. And that's really the ultimate Aaron Rodgers goal here.
Over under of 37 and a half.
And I honestly, I think the under last week, it didn't hit last week on the final touchdown. It was like 34 or something last week against Minnesota. But I think it should hit under again this week because I just don't see either team scoring a whole lot.
Yeah, and you talked about how important yards after catch was for the Steelers, and the Browns, I don't have the number in front of me, but I know they've been a good tackling team. They defended the run really well. I feel like they're going to be solid enough to where they're not going to allow all of those yards after catch. Like the Vikings game where the Steelers played the Vikings, I mean, that was the killer for them, is that the Vikings just allowed a ton of yards after the catch. They didn't necessarily do anything spectacular. Same with that Jets game to open up the season. Steelers didn't do anything spectacular on the offensive side of the ball, but they took advantage when the defense wasn't there. And that is a little bit of Aaron Rodgers. I want to give him credit for that, of being able to see that for the defense and certainly deliver an accurate ball where his wide receivers can gain those yards after the catch. But I do feel like the Browns are going to have an ability to clamp down on that more than other defenses the Steelers have played so far this year. So Gabriel got his first start at quarterback for the Browns last week in London. And I thought he played well. I mentioned on the Monday show where, okay, he played well. I don't necessarily think that he played well enough to win the game, and obviously they did not win the game, and I think that was in large part because he just really didn't throw it down the field very much. But when I sort of tried to look at the splits of how he was passing the football last week, he had a 78.3 passing grade, specifically when he was targeting receivers outside the numbers. I know David Njoku and Harold Fandon had those big days, so there people were probably like, oh, like over the middle of the field stuff. But honestly, 98 passing yards, which is more than half his passing yards, I believe. Yeah, we're outside the numbers there, and I think the passing grade was better. He had more completions in that area. That was the more consistent part of his game last week, specifically because, I mean, let's face it, he's smaller than 6 feet tall. He's listed right around 5'11 and a half from his numbers at the combine, and when you're a shorter quarterback, it's more difficult to be able to read the middle of the field over your offensive line and just as the chaos is going on. So being able to attack outside the numbers, I think, is really important for him. Steelers have a 54.7 coverage grade when defending outside the numbers this year, which isn't bad, but it does signal that this could still be an area of success for Dillon Gabriel. Maybe they can pump up the average depth of target this week compared to what they did last week. I get a little bit worried about picking the Browns in this game because the Browns were able to run the ball really well with Judkins last week. And I'm not so sure I can predict exactly that to happen again. I would like to see Dylan Sampson get more in the mix. I would like to see Dylan Sampson as a receiver getting more into the mix than being a little bit more diverse out of the backfield. If the offensive line can continue to play well, I actually do have a lot of faith in the Browns defense to clamp down on what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do on that side of the ball on offense. And so this one's going to be super low scoring. It'll come down to whoever can take care of the ball better. You went with the Steelers 16-13. So for fun, I'll go Browns 16-13 because I really do think that this is a coin flip type of a game. And I'll go the exact same score as you, except I will flip who I have winning this game.
That's just the type of football game you're getting, and I think you mentioned a couple of the right things there. Number one, turnovers, right? Whoever gives the other offense a short field, that's gonna be a problem, right? And that's how you get those easy points on the board against these two defenses and these two pass rushers. Two, who can manufacture just enough in the run game? Quinshon Judkins has been really good the last few weeks. The Steelers against Minnesota, that was a big development in their game, is that they were able to run the football at least at an average level that balanced out their offense. And three, who's just gonna pop that one or two explosive plays that matters in the passing game? I think the guy who's most likely to do that is DK Metcalf at least once or twice, even though the Browns have been really good with their man coverage this year. So I've got Steelers 16-13. I just think this is a game it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be ugly for a long time and probably go down to the wire. Would it even shock me if it was lower scoring than that? Absolutely not. But I don't think we're going to see a ton of fireworks. You got two really good pass rushers getting after these quarterbacks.